The White House is cracking down on AI safety. The Biden administration announced 7 companies leading the charge in AI. They have signed an agreement and a commitment to ensure safety and transparency around the technology. The White House also said it's in the midst of developing an executive order around artificial intelligence, but has not released a timeline. Our 3 to 5 p.m. team spoke with Nick Clegg, Meta's president of global affairs, about the development of AI, and here is what he had to say.
It's moving very fast, and would like with every kind of fast-moving technology, which is the technology is bigger than any single company or indeed any single country. There's always legitimate questions about how to strike the right balance between moving fast with these innovations, but doing so responsibly. And I think all of the companies, including Meta, we kind of agree with that. We want to strike the right balance about moving forward. These US companies have a real role of world leadership in this technology, but to do so in a way that people feel is transparent, so people can see for themselves how these systems work.
For more on this, we're joined by Ashley Gold, Axios technology reporter. Ashley, great to speak with you this morning on this. You've been reporting on this as well. And so with regard to the timeline as to when we could see perhaps even an executive order come through, is there any more clarity around that at this point?
No, there's no more clarity on that at this point. But if I had to guess, I think they would want to get something out maybe during the August recess before Congress really gets started again this fall. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has his own plans for legislating on AI. And I know the White House wants to both coordinate with Congress, but also seems like they really want to seem like they're ahead of the game on regulating AI.
And so what does that entail, Ashley? I guess is the question, right? It's a question for them. It's a question for us. It's a question for the companies that are involved. But as this dialogue's going on, are things sort of coalescing around a certain set of priorities?
There are many different ideas sort of being thrown at the wall right now. You see members of Congress introducing bills that would, create regulatory agencies just for AI and digital platforms. You have draft bills in the works that would require AI systems to be certified and to be subject to fines if they don't, abide by certain rules. There are a lot of ideas floating around. What everybody is sort of coalescing around is this idea that the risk of the AI system should determine how much regulation goes with it. And the size of the company should also help determine what level of regulation it gets. But as far as hard and fast things that everybody is agreeing on, other than wanting to strike the right balance, which we hear all the time, there's not a ton of really clear agreement yet.
These companies, some of them are going to be reporting earnings this week, and we've been discussing that at length this morning without getting too much into the numbers, but perhaps the tenor of what they have to say around where they would like to see regulation move forward within AI and how that could impact their business. I imagine you've had some conversations with them as well to that extent. What are they saying about what regulation they would like to see and perhaps even what timeline they would like to see that on?
So I think that they all want to see regulation because right now there's a lot of uncertainty. And if there, was definite regulation coming down the pike that they could plan for, that would create a lot more clarity within the business. They could plan for it. They could, set aside the funds for it. Right now, they have no idea how much this is going to cost them. I mean, compliance with the major tech rules in Europe, the DMA and the DSA, that's costing companies a lot of money. So I think especially for smaller AI companies, that's something that they want to, sort of be able to take into account immediately before it chips too much into their revenue.
I mean, of course, at the same time that they're doing this, they're really pushing into AI, right? We're coming into a week where we're going to hear from Microsoft. We're going to hear from Alphabet. And undoubtedly, a lot of the discussion is going to revolve around AI. One has to wonder, too, I mean, it seems like for investors, regulation isn't as much on their radar at this point. They just want to hear push, push, push.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, part of this is the tech industry just having learned a very big lesson after social media started to get a lot of pushback and lawmakers called for regulation. They saw how that game was played. It didn't go great for Meta and YouTube and Twitter and Snap and TikTok. And they're getting out ahead of it. They know there's going to be calls for regulation, so they want to be part of it from the beginning so they can really have a major role played in what it ends up looking like. So they're being strategic here and trying to make sure those Washington relationships are sort of positive from the get-go.
Certainly. Okay, so now going forward from here, is it clear that Congress has a clear understanding about artificial intelligence, the ramifications? I mean, because that's where there has been that lag for any type of technology, whether it's cryptocurrency or blockchain or whether it's some other form of social media that they've had to evaluate in recent years. There seems to be that knowledge gap and trying to get up to speed
Absolutely.
very quickly. Have they been able to do that around artificial intelligence to this point?
So they're definitely working on it. I know Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer wants lawmakers to feel really educated on this topic. That's why he's been having senator level briefings with experts for the past couple of months. And in the fall, he's kicking off a series of roundtables that will be not open to the public the way a hearing would be, where you hear from a bunch of witnesses and then you have to worry about looking a little silly when you ask a technical question. These are going to be more casual for lawmakers to ask questions, feel comfortable, and really get read up on it. Of course, they're not going to be AI experts within a couple of months, but there's a pretty concerted effort to get lawmakers read in on this to the extent that they can.
Yeah, that's always at least good for some comic relief, right? When we watch these hearings sometimes and some of the commentary that they make, which we'll all be watching. Ashley,
Yeah.
Good to see you. Thanks so much. Ashley Gold, Axios technology reporter. Appreciate it.
Thank you.